What's up, y'all? You're watching Union Minded. I'm your host, Eric, and today I want to talk to you about the public hearing that's going on tomorrow in Mount Vernon, because that's where I'm going to be tomorrow. There's a public hearing on the Department of Education standards recommendation. There's a recommended standards that was proposed by the Governor's Department of Education, and it's up for public comment before they make a decision on whether or not they want to implement these standards. I made a video and I kind of read the email that made me aware that this was happening, because I wasn't aware of it, and I told you how I came to be aware of it. And one of my viewers made a comment that I should read it for myself and make my own determination, and I thank you for that, because I chose to read it for myself like you suggested. And I got to tell you, it's worse than I thought, because what I thought it was going to be was that, okay, labor history was just removed, but there is such a pro ruling class angle to everything, from the preaching of individual freedom, property rights. These are all code words that the wealthy use. What happens with individual freedom? Let me explain individual freedom. Throughout our societal history, individual freedom has resulted in a very few individuals becoming extraordinarily wealthy and then using all of that wealth to buy up the entire system to their own advantage. And it's happened from the inception of our country. That's what individual freedom has done. That's what we swear we have individual freedom. But what gave us a somewhat decent standard of living with the New Deal? It wasn't individual freedom. It wasn't the benevolence of the ruling class. It was organized labor, who fought and died and bled through strikes and all kinds of pushback throughout 100 years of action to bring it to where we got the New Deal. It wasn't some gift. The bare standard of living that we have now, that so many people take for granted, the 40-hour work week, the 8 hours of straight time with a little bit of overtime after that, the weekends off, the elimination of child labor, unemployment benefits, family leave if you got it. All of this stuff came from labor agitation, striking, picketing. This is what it came from. So the standards that I read basically want to highlight history and tell you of characters of importance, right? Characters such as General Lee Jackson, or whatever these Confederate generals' names, Jefferson Davis, these cats, the officers of the Confederacy, along with a few mentions of the officers of the Union who fought on the other side, right? It's so important to mention that little blip, right? Which is shameful, but it isn't just as important, just for historical context, to mention Mother Jones, Samuel Gompers, some of these labor leaders, the Haymarket Affair, some of these issues that happened that led to the New Deal. And when they speak about the New Deal in this suggestion of curriculum, they talk about pros and cons. Read the New Deal. Do you know where the cons are? It's from the ruling class. There really are no cons to the New Deal. So I take even more issue with these history and social sciences recommendations, and I have to rewrite my letter. But I do want to read you what I wrote, and maybe you guys, if you're kind enough and you watch this video, you can drop some suggestions in the comment box for whether I need to take some stuff out or not, or how I need to change it, because I'm going to try to reword it tonight. I have to have it ready for tomorrow because I need to get up and speak, and I have under 3 minutes. So let me just read you what I got. All right, bear with me. Here we go. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Eric Pacheco. I live in Stafford County with my wife, who teaches second grade, and 3 children who attend elementary, middle, and high school in the county. I'm also a proud member of the IBEW Local Union 26. I feel my entire life would have been impossible if I never was discovered by the IBEW at 20 years old while working security in Miami. The IBEW was a career path I knew nothing of. Growing up, labor history wasn't taught in my scholastic career. Barely a mention, really. I didn't even know unions existed. I recently began reading 2 labor history books. Each page reveals more about the struggles of working people went through. Each page eye-opening in the revelation of how corporate power was consolidated and government corrupted by its ever-increasing size and financial influence, much like it is today. This is evident by this very proposal. What aim can be accomplished by this decision to erase labor history from the curriculum? What aim can be accomplished from erasing Black history, labor history? The aim must be to protect a false narrative. The insidious side effect will be a generation that grows up with no knowledge of the lives sacrificed, the blood shed, the tears, the sweat of working people fighting collectively for a better future for their children. What has labor done? Ended child labor. Business didn't do that. Created the weekend and a 40-hour work week, the 8-hour workday, unemployment benefits, workers' compensation laws, employer-based health coverage, family and medical family leave. Thank a union for all of it. To erase labor history is to write a fiction that only serves the rich corporations to the detriment of the millions of working people who live in Virginia. Make no mistake, these policies will serve to impoverish Virginia workers long term. A child who grows up unaware of the struggle against corporate power labor has waged from the beginning of this country will grow up thinking corporations are benevolent entities who treat workers fairly at all times. They'll believe in fantasy of a meritocracy, and I fear that is the aim. It is found in one of the principles of this proposal from the Youngkin Department of Education. Under foundational principles we find free enterprise, property rights, and the rule of law enable an economic system that allocates assets through free markets and competition and fosters innovation, opportunity, and efficiency. Free enterprise, Amazon, property rights, rule of law. Have you seen the police corruption and the abuse of law? Really? An economic system that has horrendously produced the highest level of income inequality in history. Rule of law, like the Sherman antitrust law, written to curb monopolies, but due to corruption, used to decimate unions? We do not need less labor history, we need a whole lot more of it, if we are ever to expect to keep up with other evolving economies and powers. Please add all of the recommended labor history standards mentioned in the collaborative proposal and go further. Thank you. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section, but that's basically my letter. Unless I rewrite it, that's what's going to happen tomorrow when I go to Mount Vernon and speak on behalf of labor history. We can't just erase this stuff. It'll lead to bad outcomes. Yeah, that's what I got for you tonight. Anyway, my name's Eric. You're watching Union Minded. Remember, the fight is not left and right. It's up and down. It's going to take class solidarity to win always. Each one teach one. Get out there and reach one. Oh, and don't forget, there could be no union without you and I, front and center. Peace.